Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the daring driver herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi, daring driver to the dentist.
And it is episode 105, July 27th, here from the Sanctuary in Evanston. Let's get right into it. We have Monday, July 27th, today, Jupiter, sextile, Neptune.
Is this what magic is?
And again, today, Venus square Neptune.
Where is your relationship?
And again, same day, Mercury square Mars.
Go time.
And Mercury out of the shadow.
Oh, finally.
And we have Thursday, July 30th, Mercury opposing Jupiter retrograde.
Baby steps.
Same day, Mercury trine Neptune.
Make your big girl list or your big boy list.
And again, same day, Venus out of the shadow.
Do it.
Saturday, August 1st, Mercury opposing Pluto retrograde.
What is really true?
And Sunday, August 2nd, Sun square Uranus.
Misstep? Question mark?
Then in Talisman times, Sandy has finished up 2 talismans with 2 upcoming: to be proud of a creation and to be proud. Then on the horizon, we have a special event coming up this week that we are the sponsors of, as well as many webinars online for you. Then in our house, Sandy and I are going to be dipping our toes into our human design charts. So let's see what we can discover in our house. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, daring driver, and welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yeah, no, I had a dentist appointment, and probably like everyone else, I have been, postponing,
it,
delaying, and finally it's like, that's been 7 months ago or 6 months ago. It was like, I better take a look at this. And so it was like, get in the car and make sure I did all the driving ABCs.
Safety checks. Good.
Making sure my rear view mirror I can see. Make sure my seatbelt was on. Because I think I drove one time since March.
Right. So that's why I named you the daring driver. You did good, and you're still alive.
To the dentist. Yeah. Yeah. It was a good visit.
Yeah. So I wanted to go direct to all of you listeners. Thank you so much for sending in your feedback and your reviews. We favorite those 5-star ones. So make sure to head over to iTunes and give us a review if you haven't done so already. And this week we have Mia. She sent in a message talking about her quarterly readings with Sandy. She's come on as one of the subscribed members. These quarterly readings with Sandy really help immensely to keep me on track with who I am, what I have come from, and where I'm going. This is the key to being an effective guide through Sandy as our astro guide.
I love her.
Yeah.
Man, we've known each other for about 6 years. So, yeah, she's doing great work.
Yeah.
Young girl.
Yeah, and we cheer her on and support her. And hi, Mia. Shout out to you. Yeah. Let's move into the transits. We have a bulky week ahead.
It's the end of July, and it is a little weighted. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so we discussed a little bit about this, bulky Monday that we have, July 27th today, if you're listening to this podcast recording as it's coming out. And we'll go back over that because this might give us a theme of the week. But we also are going to be talking about next Monday, August 3rd, which we have a full moon coming in. So let's get started. Monday, July 27th, today, Jupiter sextile Neptune.
This happens at 11:07 a.m. is this what magic is? This is the second of 3 passes that Jupiter in retrograde is in a sextile, which is a nice 60 degrees to Neptune. Now, these are the 2 planets that rule Pisces, rules both of us. One is the traditional Jupiter, and the other one is Neptune, the more modern one. And, when they meet back up in this nice configuration, it's like, what story, what fantasy is developing? So when this came in February for the first time, it finishes in November. So we have this whole year to really imagine something for ourselves. And trust me, back in February, I don't know that we had the whole realistic view of what would materialize. So, should this story need to be tweaked or traded? Do you want to keep it? You can do any of those. But when we get to that November 13th, this is the kind of and you live happily ever after. So make the story up. You may not be living it right now, but you have this intention. You can hold this
vision for yourself. Yeah. And I think that is so important. When we really get down to it, if we don't start using our imagination as we did as kids and, having these kind of, endless possibility type of feeling, it can get dark and it can get lonely and hopeless.
I remember being a little girl sitting on my girlfriend's back steps and saying, we would go through the Sears catalog would be about 4 inches tall. Right?
I kind of remember it because I was a little baby model in some of those, but I think they were smaller by the time.
Well, they totally were, but they would come out in this almost, I don't know, bigger than a telephone book.
Wow.
And we would go through it and just say, well, when I grow up, I'm going to wear that. And then we each got one outfit per page to choose. And we can't pick the same one because you can't have this. They only had one of those outfits.
Right.
So it's that kind of, vision that you hold for yourself. And certainly the landscape this year has been leveled. And so there's, you can take a step back, look at, I've got so many, clients that I'm talking to now that want to do something completely different. They really, really want to step into the helping to heal others. And they're not so corporate, as we know that the big box stores, the corporate, all this is changing. And they have to go more into mindfulness. And, this is a chance for us this year to kind of rewrite our story. Right. And this is a day to say, is that in alignment with what I feel today? Remember, it doesn't have to be what you see in reason. It doesn't have to, it doesn't even have to be common sense. Dreams aren't, right? But what do you wish? Right? What do you wish? All right.
Okay. And so same day, Monday today, Venus square Neptune.
So 12:48 p.m. Where's your relationship? Keep looking. Did you lose it? Is it misplaced?
Mine will be coming right back from Mexico. So I'll be picking mine up at the airport.
Oh, that's interesting. But I mentioned, because we used some of the same information at the end of last week's, in case anyone wasn't listening to this in time for today. But, it's the theme, it's probably for the best. We've heard that, or it's for the best. But if it's probably for the best, it's probably means that your relationship is disintegrated. And when Venus goes retrograde, it has the opportunity and the flavor and the, there's a sprinkling of salt that can go over a relationship. And if there's wounds, it's going to burn. And is it going to burn to heal, or is it going to burn to separate? So I'm guessing that relationships have either improved to the next level,
right?
And those are, it's for the best. But if it has dissolved, it's probably for the best. I always
So you
hated
add
that
the
when-
probably in there.
Yeah, I add that. It's probably like, if a teacher said that or my mom said that, it would be like, oh, well, good little hope of a
Yeah.
good
Thanks
hope
for throwing that little
sprinkle
penny
in there,
in
and
the
maybe it is
fountain for
probably
me.
for the
Yeah.
best. Right?
So,
Yeah. So,
well, and I mean, I also think that even if somebody is going through a breakup or, having that split in a relationship, it, take it as an opportunity, and although like it comes with unpackaging a whole lot of sadness and a huge array of emotions that come with that. But really it's like, holding that vision, that same, like the Jupiter Neptune magical place of where could this go for you? Don't have a vision of where you're going with how you feel in that moment.
yeah. And this is really the time when the Venus finally does get to do a square to Neptune. Is it dissolved? Do we need to look at that? Because Venus has been retrograde, and in fact, it doesn't even come out of its shadow until May 3rd. So that's why I'm mentioning it on this day, because of that square to Neptune, because square to Neptune could be a dissolvement, which means you've been maybe had trouble back in that May, June period during the retrograde cycle. But because she's still in her shadow, you may be trying to fix something or arrange something, or you're trying to get it back underneath the rug. And, it's not
meant to be there.
It's not meant to be under the rug.
Right.
It came out for a purpose, and it's something that you have to look at. So, again, it's probably for the best.
Right.
But let's get going because we got a lot to talk about.
We do. So today, also Monday, Mercury square Mars, go time.
Go time, 4:46 p.m. So Mercury is doing Mercury's out of its shadow today, by the way. So these two personal planets that have been retrograde for the last couple months, or in the shadows, Mercury comes out of its shadow today, so it's making new territory connections. Mm-hmm. And this is the first one it's going to make. And it's Mercury in Cancer, square Mars in Aries. Now, Mars in Aries is the winner here. So you really want to make a solid decision and, to stand up for yourself. Because it's square. It's the 90 degrees. It's a little tough. So what do you need to stand firm on and start walking in that direction? And I wrote here that, whatever decision you make today to start moving in a direction or thinking differently was what happened in mid-April, that when they were in a sextile where they were in good conversation, that your first instinct, your first thought that you were thinking in this mid-April period, is that what you were thinking the whole time, what is happening today? Because
that's a big question. Can we synthesize that?
So they were together in a really nice aspect mid-April, okay. Right? Mid-April, they were in a sextile.
So thinking back to that mid-April time period,
there was a direction you wanted to take, a thought, a suggestion, a movement, right? Mercury, the thought, the communicator, this was a sextile at the time, to Mars. It says, okay, what direction do we want to take? Well, Mars wasn't in his own sign of Aries. He was in Pisces.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So we had this thought, maybe that maybe be what we're going to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it. We'll see. That kind of question. And then boom, today they come in a square aspect, the next aspect that they have. And Mars is strong here. So Mars says, come on, you said you were thinking about doing this. Let's go. Is that what
it's like calling Mercury on the BS? Were you just playing around or was that serious?
Yeah. So, stand up for yourself if it's changed, but allow yourself, or whoever you're in conversation with, could be yourself, is, you know what? I don't know if I want to go in that direction anymore. But it's time to do something. It's time to go time. It's time to make a decision and start moving either way. The way that you thought you were going to move, or take a
U-turn or a left turn.
a direct turn at the crossroads.
Okay. And so now moving on till Thursday, we have July 30th, Mercury opposing Jupiter retrograde.
9:17 a.m., baby steps. Mercury is in Cancer, Jupiter's in Capricorn. We know Jupiter's been in Capricorn since December, and it stays there till this December. It's always a year that it stays in a sign. And it's really in its fall. In other words, it does not like being in Capricorn, and it's retrograde. So Mercury is stronger here. So Mercury feels proud and safe and to make a big and successful moves. But we don't want to take too big of moves. We want to make sure we take the baby steps toward a big vision, toward a big...
And I think that's sage wisdom in general, especially when you're trying to start something and initiate something new. Those baby steps are crucial. Even if you can make many of them in a short period of time or a long period of time, they add up to big girl steps. So moving on, same day, we have Mercury trining Neptune, which is called the big girl list.
Yeah, and then just a couple hours later at 1:45 p.m., it's the only way to create magic because, again, we got Neptune in the mix. Neptune is the planet of spirituality, meditation. It's the dissolver. It wants to dissolve material realms. And so it is that magic, that mystical. And Mercury is trining it, saying, okay, because they're both in water. So it's like, how do we feel? What do we want to do? And so really write your big girl list or your big boy list.
Nice. Okay.
And then take baby steps. That's why I linked the two together. It's not like you're being a baby and you're afraid. It's like you're remembering when you started out.
Yeah. And also, I started reading the Marie Forleo Everything is Figure-Outable book. And basically what she talks about is when you compile your schedule and you can actually look at, and have awareness on what you spend your time on, aka Facebook, social media, or, other things like watching TV. She's like, take that time and just imagine putting that time towards something that you really truly want for yourself.
Oh, that's excellent. Comparative.
It's huge. And so, it's also embarrassing at the same time when you're having to look at your schedule and you're like, yep, I just spent 45 minutes on Facebook for no apparent reason. So yeah, these types of things, like creating this list and creating these baby steps and taking 15 minutes can be powerful. It's not like, 15 minutes is nothing. It is a powerful time to make a big step. And so
you know what you can get done on a Peloton in 15 minutes?
A lot.
Yeah. So that's not my excuse.
And also today, this Thursday is such a big deal. July 30th. Venus is also out of her shadow. And this you named Do It. So we have get your baby steps together, write the big girl and big boy list, and then do it.
Do it. Venus is moving into new territory, and she doesn't retrograde until December of 2021. So we don't really have to look at, that internal. Hopefully we did enough of the internal look during this last Venus retrograde, which was in the May, June period. But take what you learned at that time and be external about it and hit some new territory. And also this is the day that Mars goes into his shadow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
they're playing peekaboo.
And Mercury stays in shadow, Mars stays in shadow, retrograde September 9th, and stays in retrograde until November 14th, but stays in shadow until January. Hello, that's 2021.
That's a very long time.
So, yeah.
So we need to hang on to whatever energy we possibly can for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we still have energy really until the retrograde, but the shadow period says you're going to be redoing some of that work.
Okay.
You're going to be re-looking at some of that, and you may be changing directions.
And so moving on to Saturday, August 1st, we have Mercury opposing Pluto retrograde.
5:52 a.m. What is really true? This is Mercury represents commerce, right? It represents business transactions, agreements,
And communication.
Communication, media, news, stories, social media as well. But it also Mercury rules elementary children. So it will, the schools, elementary schools.
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
Right. And so here we are coming up, preparing for school year. And whether students want to, I know moms and dads want kids to go back to school,
Yeah, especially if it were safe. But then I think any parent is going to have a little bit of hesitation if it's not, a safe atmosphere for their kid.
And so this is where the power structure and power struggle come in with that opposition to Pluto. So it's like we won't really know what is fabricated, what is perpetrated, what is real.
I've already been feeling that.
Yeah, no, we have. Well, because first of all, Mars went into the sign of Aries, so we already feel like there's like, ooh, like it's like that magnetic pull or push. So, we almost have to find out what the truth is. So you can be hearing gossip or hearing something on the news or hearing something in your neighborhood. Do your due diligence to the right news feed. And I'm not here to tell you what the right news feed is because I have not been on any news.
And it's
TV.
also hard because wherever you hear a story, there is always going to be a bias. You hear about like two people that you love that were in a relationship that are now divorced. You talk to both sides and you will get a very different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to know what is true, what is really true. And so I guess my best answer, and I know you weren't asking me that question, but I guess my best answer for something like that is when you can find your own truth and live according to that, that's going to be your best answer,
Well, one of my news sources or only news source is Skimmed. And, I talk about that sometimes. And
you should be a sponsor or like an
They
affiliate.
have ambassadors. Yeah. Well, and I just found out it's two women that write this. And I've been on this for 3 years. I guess I've never done my research.
It seems like even longer.
But they just give me the drilled down version. It's very easy to read. They tell me they're actually quite funny by just saying, what does that mean again?
Well, because the news right now is somewhat funny.
And I really feel like it's fair and to the point. There's not a lot of frivolous information that I have to get through. So I really like Skimmed.
So yeah, what is your truth? What do you find to be really true? So moving on to Sunday, this Sunday, August 2nd, Sun square Uranus.
Misstep? ? Sun is in Leo, so yay. We announced that Sun moved into Leo last week, and it's just a beautiful place for
it's home. The sun is home.
It's radiant. It's the ruler of. It's warm. Maybe hot. It's a fire sign, and the sun is back home, like you said. And this time, it squares Uranus, and the Uranus is at 10 degrees. Now it's really interesting because Uranus has been moving fast. It's now slowing down because Uranus will retrograde.
Go retrograde.
Yeah, in August. So it's really slowing down. But from 8 degrees to 10 degrees. it has not made that. It has not hit those degrees yet in Taurus until just recently, and now it is. Now it's stopping. So it's hit new territory. So I'm just asking if there's been a misstep. Be careful today. Whatever the road you choose to walk today, don't run. If you are hurried, put down the scissors, take off the stilettos, take your time and pay attention. Because that Sun in Leo may be paying more attention to the
look.
drama and the making sure everybody's looking at you. And the Uranus goes, whoops, you didn't see that step.
Yeah.
That don't look too good.
No, and that harshes the ego. So that's really also interesting. I think kind of what I'm hearing too is that maybe this is a really good time to admit mistakes. You might have to swallow your pride a little bit. That Sun in Leo might have to be like a big gulp. But Uranus coming in and saying like, yeah, this is life. And sometimes it can just get a little bit messy. And yes, you trip and you fall on your face.
Yeah.
But the choice that you have in that moment when your face is at the ground, you have the choice of getting back up. And so I think that's what a Leo will always do is just, swallow their pride when they need to and step back up. So yeah, that is the end of this week. However, we have 2 transits coming up Monday, August 3rd. We have the full moon in Aquarius, and we wanted to talk about this one so you all are prepared to fly those freak flags high.
It is. That's what I called it. This is at 10:58 a.m. on Monday, August 3rd. The sun in Leo that we mentioned, the moon in the opposite sign of Aquarius. This is at 11 degrees. And it's square Uranus. And really Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. So just as the sun wants to be bold, the moon wants to be different. And Uranus comes in there as a really tight square and creates a disruption. But the ruler, the traditional ruler of Aquarius is Saturn. And Saturn is in retrograde in Capricorn. And so there's a control. It's like, fly your freak flag, right? Because it's about you being proud of who you are and your individuality.
Right.
But watch for kind of a sideways, something unexpected.
So that
kind of
Uranus
keep your eyes peeled and watch something about being a controlled, something that has to be that Saturn, that Saturnian energy. So, but it's a Monday. Would be a fun day. If you're ready for change.
Yeah.
A changeable day, kind of like the day before, Sunday. So Sunday and Monday are a lot of like.
And I also think that like when we're talking about like wave your freak flag high, it's, it doesn't have to be for everyone to see. If you just want to get out of your, the constriction of your skin a little bit, then put on some really weird music that you love and just start dancing and wave your freak flag just for you to see and for you to giggle at and for you to participate in, where you're like, oh, I'm so weird, but I love it. And I think that would be a really fun exercise too when it comes to that full moon in Aquarius.
So I'll see it that on that day I'll see a post of you playing.
I don't know about a
music.
post, so I didn't say that it had to be like all that public, but yeah, more recently I've been dancing by my lonesome because I'm by my lonesome. So Monday, August 3rd, again, we have Mercury opposing Saturn retrograde.
4 p.m. Stand corrected. Mercury now is looking straight in the face of the judge.
Little scary.
It could be. Because the judge, even though the judge, Saturn is in retrograde in Capricorn, you're just better off. You could have a distorted thought around something. So slow down your mouth. Just you're better off just to write it down, see what you really want, what you really need, and say, to understand what you are putting out. There's a better way to deliver a message, and you're going to have this opportunity in 2 weeks. On August 17th, when these two it's the planet of Mercury, trines Mars. That's a really good day to express yourself in a very powerful forward action movement. But write down what you think today or what you need to correct. And it's okay to say, like you just said, oh, geez, I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Right.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Right.
Yep. So a really interesting week. I'm kind of excited for this. It's going to be a lot of exploration, a lot of interesting energy. So let us know how this week turns out for you guys. I have a new email, alex@intentionbeads.com. I'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah, and really the title of the August month is Shifts, Dips, Flips, and Turns.
So we'll get our yoga on. We'll get our flexibility back up to par. So moving on to talisman times, Sandy, you have finished 2 talismans. The first was Wednesday, July 22nd, to be a natural leader. And I believe this one is already sold.
It did. By opening up my heart and my lioness power, I increase my vitality and attract others through love and devotion. This is the moon on Regulus. I do try and get this each month, but this one was very easy to do with the sun and the moon, both at just moving into 0 degrees.
And it's got a really cool magnetic feel to that affirmation.
And it's on Regulus. The sun is right on Regulus at the top of the chart. So this is about being known in your career as that. Yeah.
And Thursday, July 23rd, you made a talisman to have courage. And this to me sounds again like Regulus, maybe.
Nope.
Oh.
Well, it was on the tail end of Regulus. This was already...
but Leo.
The day after. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And this is my light continues to grow and shine brighter every day. I unfold and blossom. This is the new moon in Leo, but now the moon has moved into the next sign of Virgo. So it's like moon Virgo wanting to do the right thing that they had set out to do together.
And
Leo.
even being the one to make the decision.
Yeah, putting things into order. And so this is just to have courage. I like this one. I didn't see this one last week until earlier this week.
Until it popped up.
Until it popped up, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so your 2 upcoming talismans are both on the same day, Wednesday, July 29th. The first one is to be proud of a creation. Could this be a child? Like me, right over here?
Well, the moon is in the 5th house, and 5th house does represent children.
Okay.
Yep, I could be so proud of a creation that I created. 2 at the same time, intention beads and my daughter. To be proud of a creation. I take my bow as a humble creator. I deserve this notoriety, recognition, and public visibility. I shine my light.
Yeah.
Really like this. This ends up being the right coming up over the horizon is the sun. This is done at 5:41 a.m. Sun in Leo coming up over the horizon in a trine to the moon in Sagittarius.
And what I really like about this one is, and it speaks to me very personally, because whenever I create something, I'll, and there's plenty that I create, mainly online and website,
everything,
and that type of stuff. But
I'm the ideation, and then I'm the
do-it-aller,
kind of fix it.
So it's funny because when I get like compliments or like people will be like, wow, you did such a good job at that, I'll be like thinking to myself, maybe sometimes I share that, but I'll be thinking of all the things that I could have done better and that like what I want to change about it. And it doesn't allow me the time and the space to just feel like, oh, wow, thank you. You know, I worked really hard on that. Because when you think about it, anything can be improved. Mm-hmm. But as long as you get it to a place where you're like, wow, that was worth it, and I'm feeling happy that I did it. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm speaking to myself, clearly. I hear myself in my own headphones right now. So this is great, you know, to have those moments of that, being proud of what you're doing.
Because you just had one of these a couple days ago, where you were 2 days on that production of a video that we had to create.
Oh, yes.
And you were up till 2 o'clock. You finished it at 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. So that kind of thing. And you did such a great job.
I'll insert the applause there. And so the next talisman that we have is the same day, to be proud. So this is a little bit more generalized.
This is my values have established my role I play in the world. I create my new form. This is Venus, you know, now really kind of coming out of her shadow and moving into a new, and she's in a nice sextile to, well, sun is sextiling her, and the moon is trining the ascendant from the 5th house as well. So 5th house in a natural chart really is
ruled by Leo.
Yeah, it's ruled by Leo and is about creative expression and to be brave.
Right.
So that's
and to have that
too. And I just want
to
say that here, if anyone is interested in the pre, and these are up on website already, the pre-sale talisman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you purchase it in advance, a good day in advance, at least a day in advance, then I get a hold of you and ask you I give you the exact time. I ask you for what style you wanted, if you wanted small bead or large bead. I ask you pick out two really colors. Cool. Pick out the 2 colors. And is there any tweaking of the wording, as long as we stay in the to be proud and my values have established my role, that if there's an extra word you want to add in there to make it more, you know, personalized.
And I mean, that's really close to get to, you know, a personalized talisman. So that is pretty cool. So if any of you are listening to the upcoming talismans, notice one that just totally rings true to you, that's the time to either click in the description or head to our website and check out the pre-sale talismans, because it's crucial. It's cool. But make sure you're at least 24 hours in advance to grab it. Okay, so moving on to the horizon, we have our main event this week is the Beth Davis online event. And this is pretty much what we're going to be talking about in our house a little bit. We're not the experts. She is the human design and palmistry expert. But it's team on purpose. And basically this event is really just like getting clear on, you know, what is your purpose, you know, within career, within being an entrepreneur, a business owner, being a manager in charge of a division, and how to kind of collect your team and have them share that same vision with you. We're really excited. We're the sponsors of this big virtual event.
It's her first virtual event. I've worked with her 2 in-person ones, one in LA.
Oh, yeah.
In person, and one in Arizona somewhere, Scottsdale. Okay. Yeah. But it's human design. And they're also doing, which we just got, and you get this in your email. There's about 17 pages, because you have to give them your birth information, your email, of course, a couple things. And then they get the 17 pages that we just printed out. Now I've been with Beth for 2 or 3 years, and you know, I know my human design chart, but most people don't, or need to have it explained to them, and that's what she does.
Yeah,
You're going through your papers right now, right?
It's a lot of information.
It's
I'll tell you
cool
that.
though, right?
Yeah, and some of it definitely rings true. Well, we'll talk more about that in our house. But if anyone is interested in joining us on this Team on Purpose Beth Davis online event, the link in the description will get you a special discount. So make sure to use that one. Moving on, we have 3 Chatting with the Stars webinars coming up. The first one is August 12th. We're naming this Planets and Politics, basically going through, kind of combing through the upcoming conventions that are looming and talking about it from an astrological perspective and an as unbiased politically perspective as possible.
Yeah, I pretty much stay. I've never in my other business I had, when I owned she beads, never.
You don't really try and step foot into politics when
or
you're a
religion,
business owner.
When you're
Right.
you can. And some people do, and it's just I'm a Pisces, so it was like, hey, just believe in love and show love and be love, and that's my religion. So I didn't need to
But I think
be
more and
hard
more-
on either side or either way.
I think more and more businesses are making a conscious effort because there is such a polarization going on especially in the US. And, people want to know. People want to know where people stand in this kind of standoff. So it's interesting. But we are going to be talking about, Sandy and Susan are going to be talking about like the planetary influence on these political conventions that are coming up. So, of course, link in the description. September 2nd, we have the next Chatting with the Stars webinar, and this is the Mars retrograde in Aries. So we've been talking about it here on the podcast. This is going to be like a lengthy transit for Mars retrograde.
It's the theme for the rest of the year.
Right.
It is the theme.
So this will be a really wonderful way to help you navigate this kind of like
treacherous battlefield.
Yes, either a battlefield or even like maybe
Mars.
like grinding of gears. This like type of feeling of like things aren't progressing the way that we really want them to and at the speed that we want them to. So how can we navigate this? Then October 14th, we have our Chatting with the Stars webinar. This is the Blue Moon webinar. And
it's a blue moon. We don't get very many of those. It's 2 full moons in a month period. So we're going to talk about
you're going to talk a lot about the moon energy and the moon phases.
Maybe moon cycles, why it's important to watch the new moon, the full moons. We're of course we're out of the eclipse season right now, but we've got another eclipse season coming up. We get it every 6 months, which won't be till December. But yeah, we're going to talk about that.
And even if they personalize the webinar with their extra $5 chart, you could teach them how they find their moon sign, which would be interesting.
Yeah, and their moon phase.
Yeah. Okay, so that is all for On the Horizon. And
can we add the community check-in?
Oh, yes, but we don't have a date for that.
The 19th, I've got it down. So what do you think about that?
August 19th?
Yeah.
Okay, I am adding that to the schedule right now. So August 19th, we have our community check-in. Again, if you haven't heard of this, it is a really wonderful way just to check in, see who is around and who's free at that time. Because what I've noticed about our community check-ins is that we do have a string of like people who are always there, but then we have this mix and this interesting amount of people who come in and still participate because we ask everybody to share what's going on in their life or to answer one of our prompt questions and share a little bit of their advice that they're like kind of their own medicine that they're taking.
It's cool. And we literally sometimes will just like, so what'd you do today? Right? What are you most proud of today? What was your conflict today? And it could be like left the house in the car and then all of a sudden forgot my purse. I had to drive back. We're just hearing real people's stories.
Right. And it's nice. It's nice just to, I mean, there's literally no agenda.
No.
We just, it's open. And if we have, say, we've never had less than maybe 10 people show up, but if we have 3 people show up, or we have
35 like we once had.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to be there for everybody, and we want to hear at least a little snippet of what's been going on.
And it takes we like go dead at 1 hour. We
try. Yes.
No, Alex, we do.
The first time we went over, which is such a signature of who we are and what we do, because we have so much to talk about, probably just like this podcast right now. However, speaking of which, let's move on to our house, where we are going to be dipping our toes into something a little bit new and unique for us because, of course, we're astrology experts. Me, maybe not so much, but, human design is interesting. And we have the Beth Davis online event. We have these like really cool packets.
I know. And what I haven't ever seen,
the gene keys.
So we've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages of this that are specifically to me, like my life's work, my evolution, my radiance, and my purpose. And she'll review all of this. Then she goes into how we understand this whole full profile of all these dots. And it's really an amazing journey of self-discovery through your genius, your love, and your prosperity. So this is part of what we're talking about. But let's go through. Can you read your genius on your deepest purpose? I'll read mine.
Okay. And these are the gene keys, which I think gene keys have something to do with human design because they look a little bit similar. This one has a lot of dots, but it also has the I Ching ring around it. So my deepest purpose in life is to manifest a gift of adventure.
Mm-hmm. Mine is, my deepest purpose in life is to manifest the gift of magnetism.
Okay.
What do you have to transform in order to realize your purpose of adventure?
The shadow of hunger. And so I wonder, like, because actually right now I am hungry. I skipped lunch, but yeah, I kind of wonder what that is. Like, I guess it's like a yearning or a feeling of deprivation.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Because she's making sure we have all these, and then she's teaching in the big forum, around the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what mine is? To realize my purpose of magnetism, I need to transform the shadow of dullness.
I don't know how
Dull.
you can. I mean,
Am I dull?
I've seen maybe a few times when you've considered yourself dull, but I think you have naturally a really hard time being dull.
I must have a shadow, so don't tell anyone I'm dull.
Right. But
I guess that means I'm not sharp.
You're constantly sharpening your edge. Really, truly. I mean, because you have this restlessness to yourself that, that you're always wanting more. You're always like, interested in like, what's next? What do I learn next? And that I guess hunger for you has definitely come in the form of astrology, because you're taking, I don't know, 8 classes right now, 2 very specific graded, credit worthy ones, but then you're consistently updating. So
tell me what you thrive best in.
Where do I see that one?
At the very bottom of the prosperity.
Oh, I thrive best where my knowledge and wisdom is highly respected. But
You do such a good job, Alex.
Oh, thanks.
Mine is I thrive best in a partnership.
Oh.
Interesting, because I thought I was doing pretty good all here. So solo.
Yeah, super interesting.
God,
okay,
we'll
well,
see.
let's move over to the human design. So what type are you
So there's
human
5
design?
types.
Okay.
There's 5 types. Manifester, generator, manifesting generator, projector, or reflector.
Okay.
Now, the projector and reflector are very small percentages of the human population. So if you get one of those, that'd be interesting to know.
Cool. Does
Yeah.
anyone out there know what their human design is? If you do, share it with us on Instagram, Intention Beads, or email me, alex@intentionbeads.com.
But I'm a manifester.
And I'm a manifesting generator. I'm both.
So if you're a manifestor life chart, activity is your way, whether it is yourself in motion or activating movement in others. This is me. Because you have a natural abundance of energy that catalyzes activity in the world around you, you manifest life to move toward wherever you set your intentions. So funny.
That is so true.
My business is called Intention Beads.
Right.
So you as a manifesting generator, you want to hear?
Yeah.
If you have a manifesting generator life chart, you have a restless energy that often can't wait to get involved with something, anything, especially when you have nothing to do. You dislike holdups and restriction. Of the 5 types of human design, yours has perhaps the most complex process of engagement, and it may take you some time for you to master. However, once you understand your own particular approach to life, you will be amazed at how easy it is to be fulfilled in every action.
Tell me what that is. Well, I think that's kind of funny because basically my reaction to that is like, doesn't everyone kind of get frustrated by, restrictions or, and doesn't everyone kind of think about the things that they could be doing if they're doing nothing?
Just the manifesting generators.
Yeah, I guess so.
So there's this whole like picture of looking like a person, right?
Right.
So give me a channel, and then there's like
it kind of looks like a train station from like an aerial view.
Like a subway
and like
system.
Buildings, yeah. I kind of think astrology charts are prettier.
Okay.
And they make more sense to me.
Well, yeah. I'll so give me one of, well, I've got this open to me. I'm going to read, I've got the channel complete from 46 to 29, which is the sacral to the self. Here's the first sentence, or first paragraph. Oh, here comes the whirlwind. Life's going to get interesting, so fasten your seatbelts and hang on to your hats. When someone says this to you, you can bet that their 2946 has just entered the scenes, bringing the potential to embrace success. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. I want to know more. Well, I won't read the 2 pages that are connected here, but give me one of yours.
40 and 37.
So, channel of community. This is from the emotions to the heart. Your word is bond, and you wish to live in a community called trust and fairness, viewing the world as a large family. As you seek purpose in life, you need like-minded allies who support your goals. You build bonds on the foundations of trust and honesty, where everyone pitches in and pulls his or her weight.
Mm-hmm.
These values underpin all your relationships and associations. This channel is tribal, and you need the right company if fulfillment and success are to be achieved. If you fall in with the wrong people, life tends to go pear-shaped.
What? I don't know what that means either.
I don't know either, but I like it.
I guess pear shape is kind of like a teardrop too.
Yeah, I guess it's bottom heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, this is just kind of...
Well, that's funny because also my... it's really interesting because my Sabian symbol is pretty much all around community as well. Mm-hmm. And so it just... that's a huge theme for me. And I'm always someone to want the entire group to be together or, to have solidarity within that group setting where everyone understands either their roles or, the feelings that are happening, and, there be kind of this sense of equality.
Can I remind you of your Sabian symbol? I just grabbed the book.
Read it, yeah.
Old childhood friends on a road trip are camped by the side of the road and talking over their lives. So
I love camping. I've never technically gone camping, but if you count the endless times when I was growing up where we would, pitch the tent in the backyard and
that's hardly, Alex, hold on. We pulled the cable out there for the television.
Well, it was glamping. It was backyard glamping.
You were 7 years old and wanted your TV out there.
Well, we didn't always, because clearly like the parents were like, no way, we're not doing that. It's 9 p.m. and we don't want to roll the TV all the way out. Because when you think about it, back in the 90s, there weren't like tiny little cameras that fit in your pocket.
One night it was so hot in the tent. You were like, your hair was so tightly curled, and you weren't happy, but you were determined to sleep in the tent. You had to put
a fan.
A
I
fan
remember
with
that.
An extension cord out the back door, and I'm like, oh my God, this might not be good. What if there's an electric storm, and what if it falls over? I don't know. I don't like this.
No, it's kind of like locking your child in the car on a hot day.
Before I went to sleep, I went out there and took the fan out.
Oh no!
What? Huh? What did you say? Anyway, that's just a little bit of information that is heavy on Thursday. And this starts in 8:30 in the morning, Thursday and Friday. This is Pacific time, but so let's give Chicago time. From 10:30 in the morning till about 7 p.m. All day Thursday, all day Friday, and that is July 30th and 31st. If you go through the link that's in this, you get a discount. And just come learn more about yourself, and I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
It'll be great.
You'll talk to me.
Okay, so that is a wrap on our episode today. Thank you all for listening in. We love you. We send you lots of love, and of course, we ask you to do the same in forms of feedback, reviews. We love those iTunes ones, and tell your friends about us, because we love to reach these wavelengths deeper and greater into the community. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is free.